All right, welcome Kingdom to the Fantasy Kings podcast. I am your host, The Peez, joined by my co-host, Carlito. Say what up.
My man, what up, Peezy?
Chilling, brother. Ready to talk about, I know your favorite subject today. We got the wide receivers. We got the top 12 wide receivers based off ECR that we're going to be getting into today, talking a little bit about their auction value. How you feel about that?
I feel great. I think this year, man, there's just a lot of wide receivers to choose from. I think that's why usually people love the running back strategy, but me, nope, just means all the more the merrier. So, stoked.
Yep. All right, let's jump in. So, number one on the ECR for wide receivers is going to be none other than Jay Jettas. Now, this one was real close between him and number two. I'll save that spoiler alert for you. But number one goes to Jamar Chase right now, who, I mean, let's just face it, he's a dog. Got that dog in him.
He is. He gets a lot of looks. He gets all the attention, and he's rightfully just, he's good.
Yep. And I see him going I think he's going to go for that 30 to 35%, honestly, in your auction leagues.
Yeah, and I can see a bidding war driving that up all day. I think it just comes down to preference between this guy, Jamar Chase, coming in right behind him. Dude is solid on a good team with a gunslinging quarterback and Joey B. I think he always looks to him. They played together in college. I mean, he breaks out every year. I mean, he's just consistent. Last year, he had, I think, a injury bug for about 4 or 5 weeks.
Games, yeah.
But he was still a stud. So I'm looking to pay potentially up to 30%. I do have a little sleeper that I think can be almost as good, so maybe a little poor man's value there, but still spectacular. So Jamar Chase, looking to get him.
And so number three for wide receivers based off the ECR is going to be Cooper Kupp, which I feel like a lot of people are kind of sleeping on. I know he got hurt last year. The year before that, he literally won the Triple Crown.
Yeah, he broke every stat. I mean, He was just the guy that single-handedly...
He was that dude.
I think we were looking at one of our guys who had him, and we're like, how did we let this guy go for this cheap?
For so cheap, yeah,
yes,
exactly. That was 2 years ago. Last year he went for a lot, and this year he's going to be going for a lot. I see him in that 30% range also. If he gets into a bidding war, maybe a little bit higher, but that's generally 30% of your cap. If is what you should be looking for if you want to target Cooper Kupp.
Yeah, I mean, he ain't the fastest, but I would say the fastest in the league is going to be known as the Cheetah under Tyreek Hill. That's going to be coming, another preference. He'd be the fourth pick, and I think he could equally go for about 30% as well. Again, some of these guys, depending on your strategy and what you're willing to pay, easily can go maybe even above 30%, but all these guys are going to be at least between 20 to 30%, depending on your preference or comfortability. I'm looking to get Tyreek Hill. I think he still has the wheels. I think his team's good enough. His scheme's good enough. He's not going to get double coverage because there's another wide receiver one on the other side of the field. So I'm looking to get as many shares as I can after the Cheetah.
And what a lot of thing with Tyreek Hill is he's actually proven to be QB proof. We got numbers with Mahomes. Well, he got numbers with Tua. And when Tua went down last year, he got numbers with a lot of guys. So I like that Tyreek Hill at ECR4. A guy that I'm a little hesitant on ECR5 is going to be Stephon Diggs. I mean, don't get me wrong. He's a great receiver. I really like what he does, catching balls. But, man, there's a lot of drama right now in Buffalo.
Yeah, I don't know. Is that drama going to come to? Was that just noise, or is that going to be some truth to it? But I mean, he does get those deep balls. He gets all the looks. I mean,
he gets a lot of targets for sure. And I think Diggs is probably a 25% guy, 25 to 30. But man, I mean, that seems like a lot. If I'm going to spend that money, I'd probably want somebody else, just with all the drama. But number 5 right now, ECR is going to be Diggs.
And if he chirps loud enough, he's definitely going to get the ball.
Yep.
That's for sure. Another guy who I had on my team last year, I got him a pretty reasonable price. I think I got him for about like 18% of my overall budget last year. This year, no way he's going that cheap. Him being on the high-flying Eagles offense, A.J. Brown, another stud. Dude, talent has always had, no issue there. He just had I would just say a downgrade of a QB with over at the Titans. But I'm looking to spend, comfortably at least 20% on A.J. Brown. I think max I'd want to go up to about 25% max. But is he a solid wide receiver one? Yes.
Absolutely.
And I think, with the QB, as well as he's not going to really get double coverage as well. I'm looking to pick up A.J. Brown, as many shares as I can.
Awesome. So now we going to number 7 from heaven. That's actually going to be CeeDee Lamb. So another Cowboy making these top 12 lists on ECR. CeeDee Lamb. Now he does put up a lot of numbers. And he's in a good offense. I mean, I think we're all interested to see what happens this year now that Kellen Moore's gone, and they've got Brian Schottenheimer calling the plays or Mike McCarthy calling the plays. We don't know who's calling the plays, but he's that bona fide number one that they've got out in Dallas, and he's going to get a lot of targets. I'm comfortable with CeeDee Lamb around 20 to 25% of it, but again, he's a Cowboy. So he's probably going to go for way more. If you got a Cowboy fan, I love driving up the price on Cowboys.
I was just going to say that. Just drive up the price on that guy. He's got the talent, but do you want him? I think you'll be happy with him on your team either way. Yep. Cowboys fans just a little bit more. I'll go with Devontae Adams if I'm going to spend the money. He's a little bit cheaper than CD right now. Yes, he's on a lesser team as far as expectations. And, I'm just looking to draft Adams because he's no longer a Packer. I love having him on my team. I'm biased again. I think he's the clear number one. I think he's still within a top 5 overall. So for him to fall around this, I'm comfortable paying up to 25% for him too. I think he's just going to literally get force-fed this year. But I can see most people would be willing to spend anywhere between 18 to 22%, but I'm willing to spend up to 25 on Devontae Adams.
Gotcha. All right. Well, coming in at number 9 on the ECR ranking is going to be Amon-Ra St. Brown, the Sun God. Now, this dude I think is primed for a breakout year. I think he's in that same 18 to 22% range we've been talking about, but I think the Lions offense is going to kill this year. I really do. I think you saw it. You saw a lot of spurts of it last year. I think one more year with the coordinator. You got the running back they just drafted, Jamison Williams, if he ever stops gambling. They're going to have, I think Amon-Ra St. Brown's going to be a solid fantasy pick this year. He's coming in at number 9 on the ECR.
Yeah, they were fun to watch. I think another guy who could potentially have that top 10 year is going to be Garrett Wilson out of the Jets, and that's just because he gets Aaron Rodgers. As much as it pains me to say this, Aaron Rodgers, I hate him. He's just been beating up on the Bears my entire existence. It's not fair. Lost a lot of money. You owe me money, Aaron Rodgers, if you hear this. I'll take a Venmo transaction if you want.
And the thing about Garrett Wilson is Aaron Rodgers is known for peppering his number one guy with targets.
Exactly.
Look at the Devontae Adams year.
That's what I was just going to say. He gets tunnel vision. He can share the wealth, but he'll just feed them. He knows how to get those tight windows. I think it's a easy stackable because Aaron Rodgers isn't going to go for that much. He wasn't even in our top 12 list, but I think Garrett Wilson's a good solid wide receiver. You can get between 15 to 20% of your overall budget.
So, and then with number 11 on the ECR is going to be Waddle. Now, Jalen Waddle, he is the primary beneficiary of Tyreek Hill existing in Miami right now because the year before Tyreek Hill got there, he had 100 catches, but his average depth of the target was like 9 yards. It was trash.
And they're not double teaming him with Tyreek on the other side, and he's equally fast and he's equally good. The talent's
when Tyreek Hill got there, it doubled.
Absolutely.
Went from 9 yards to 18 yards, which is massive. Jalen Waddle is a guy who I think is primed for a breakout too. I see him going in the 15 to 18% round. He might go a little bit lower, a little bit higher, but he's a guy I would target trying to get maybe a little bit of a discount because people are like, oh, well, he's with Tyreek Hill. Tyreek Hill's going to get, well, I think,
Yeah, but there's something
he's also going to be facing the second and third best corner.
Absolutely. And I was going to say there's something to be said about going after a player who could be a number one without another number one on the opposite of the team. And the same goes for T. Higgins. He's a number one, but there's also a number one on the same team. So same situation, different team. It's really just a preference. You want to be able to go after these high flyers who are on potent offenses that can score points. T. Higgins being the 12th pick. He was on my team last year. He did great. I think he even did better when Jamar Chase was gone for a little bit, but overall, same situation. He's not going to get the double teams. He's trusted. He's going to good for at least 1,000 yards. I think it really just depends on whether he's going to get between let's just say 8 to 15 touchdowns in that role. And I'm comfortable spending anywhere between 15 to 18% all day on him. I think he's a number one I would like to get him as my number 2 wide receiver. Again, I usually spend more of my budget, but I think he's a great, great nod right there.
Yep. And, so it's interesting looking back at our top 12 on ACR. You actually have 2 sets of teammates. You've got Jamar Chase at 2, and you've got T. Higgins at 12. And then you've got Tyreek Hill at 4, and you got Jalen Waddle at 11. So you got 2 sets of teammates who are both in the top 12 ECR for receivers. So it's interesting to look at. Should be a lot of fun. Any final thoughts as we sign off for our wide receiver round?
No, I think there's a couple of guys maybe that weren't on this list that could easily been slid up. But overall, I'm comfortable with what we said as far as what we're looking to spend. I think this is going to be the most exciting wide receiver year just because there's so many people. But all these guys, oh man, they're going to put up numbers, and I'm excited for it. I'm ready to spend money.
Yep. All right. Well, thanks for joining us for our wide receiver episode. Remember, when you play fantasy,
play for the crown.
Thanks for listening to this episode of Fantasy Football Kings. You can always reach out to us on Twitter at FFB_Kings or like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. We're available wherever you get podcasts, so don't forget to download, subscribe, review, and rate 5 stars.